So hi guys, my name is Frankie Widows. I'm a master lash technician and a trainer, and I haven't done one of these videos for a while, and what I'm going to do is show you how I go about prepping and working on one of my clients. So I'm going to take you step by step through how I prepare the lashes ready for a full set of eyelash extensions. So first of all, I would have done my full consultation and my patch test with my client probably about a week ago, so that I know that there are no contraindications that I need to be aware of before I work on that client. So everything is done, I know what style I'm going to do, and this is the bit now where I go into cleansing that client prior to their set. So the products you're going to see me use are available on the Eyelash Excellence shop. That's www.eyelashexcellence.com. All of these products are personally sourced by myself. I spend many hours trialing these products, making sure that they work on my real clients, and only then will I ever bring them to my shop, because if they don't work for me, I would never ever allow them to be used on my clients, and I would never allow my students to use them. So you can come to the Eyelash Excellence shop and know full well that the products that you are buying are exactly what I work with, and they do actually work. So first of all, I do like my client to arrive with clean eyes. However, it's not always possible, because if they've just come from work, they may already be wearing makeup. But I do request that they arrive with nice clean eyes, no makeup, but I will still always cleanse that client, because just because they may have cleansed themselves, they might not have been able to get all of the residue off their lashes, which will also prevent a bond of the extension to the natural lash and result in poor retention on that client. So the first product I'm going to get is my Eyelash Excellence lint-free eye makeup remover wipes. You also do have the option on the shop of the foaming lash cleanser, which can also be used at this stage as well. But I really like these wipes here. They are great. I have very sensitive eyes and I use these on myself, and they don't sting me at all, so I like these. And they're such a great product. I love how they feel. If you purchase them, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They're quite strange, but the great thing is that they're lint free, so they won't get caught on the eyelash extensions if you are using them at an infill. Now, where they're in the pot, they actually can have quite a lot of sort of moisture in them, so I will always either squeeze them out on my towel, or I'll have some cotton wool next to me that I'll squeeze it out on. So you can take yourself a cotton wool pad, so I've got some here, and just squeeze the residue out of them. The good thing is that because they have got a little bit of residue on them, if there's a lot of makeup still on that client, you can actually really use that to your advantage to get all of it off, because you'll need a slightly damper eye makeup remover wipe than if they didn't have anything on. So I'm just taking off the excess. You can probably see me just squeezing out. I'm just drying them out a little bit, otherwise it can run into the eye if there is too much moisture on it. And sometimes I just like to dab them together like so, just to disperse the moisture together. So my client Emma, she's arrived with lovely clean eyes today, but I'm still going to cleanse her because we need to make sure that we are taking everything off. So with the eyes closed, we're just going to go in just a motion from inside to outside. And it is important as well that you cleanse below the eye. Cleanse where you're going to apply the pad, because if you've got makeup there, you'll find that your pad won't stick, so you need to cleanse around the area as well. Cleanse over the top of the eyelids, and if you've got a really oily client, I do recommend that you cleanse across the forehead as well, because what can happen during your set is you'll find that actually moisture as well as oils can travel down from their brow and actually can start to affect retention. So actually it's a good idea to give a cleanse above. And you should hopefully see that your pads are coming up nice and clean, which these are, which show me that the eyes are nice and clean. But we're not done yet. So another thing I like to use is little micro brushes, because these are great for getting in right in the bottom of the root of the lash line, which actually you can't really get to with the cotton wool pads or any makeup remover like that. So I like to dip them into either, if the eye is a little bit dirty still, some sort of oil-free makeup remover, or I always have cooled down boiled kettle water, because it is the most sterile product that I have because it's been boiled, and I just let it cool just ever so slightly so it's a little bit warm, dip my micro brushes into it, and then just dab off the excess. And what I'm going to be doing now is going in from the root to the tip of every natural lash, with one on top, one on the bottom, and I'm just cleansing through from root to tip. And you can also just lift the eye slightly and just rub gently along the lash line. So I'm just rubbing my brush ever so gently along the lash line here. And you'll actually, on a lot of clients that wear a lot of makeup, and Emma doesn't really wear mascara during the day, so her eyes are nice and clean, but you'll actually find that these brushes will actually come up black, where you actually get little particles of makeup caught in between the lashes, and you can't get it off with normal scrubbing. So this is a really, really good tip to do when you are cleansing your client. Now, Emma's eyes are lovely and clean. I can use these same ones again. If they were dirty, I would just keep replacing them until they run clean. So again on the other eye. So from root to tip, you know, if the eye is still very, very dirty, this is probably going to take you a while. But on Emma, I can see that her lashes are really, really squeaky clean. There's no makeup in there at all. And I can literally see when I'm bringing these buds up that nothing is coming off these, so her eyes are nice and clean. Always, always, always take any residue off with cotton wool pads dipped into your cooled down boiled kettle water. Any product that you put on, like an eye makeup remover, will leave a residue on there, even though it's suitable for eyelash extensions. And what that can do is actually, prevent a good bond of the eyelash extension to the natural lash. So we've got to make sure that we take the residue off. So just take the excess off these once you've dipped them in your boiled kettle water and just cleanse. So we're now making sure that actually we've got a really, really good squeaky clean platform for us to work off on our client. So now that the eye is cleansed, we are going to apply our under eye gel pads, and it's really important that you have a gel pad that is designed for eyelash extensions, so it's not an anti-wrinkle one because they're different, and also that it has minimal ingredients in it, because a lot of them have got so many in it, and actually a lot of the time it's the ingredients in your pad that your client could be allergic to rather than the adhesive. So these only have 4 ingredients in them, which is water, glycerol, aloe extra and vitamin C. And these are actually some of the best that I've ever used. So if you are looking for a good gel pad, and it took me a long time to find these, come to the Eyelash Excellence shop where you can buy these. Now, when I'm training beginners, I always recommend that we work on both eyes at the same time. So we will pad both eyes and we will work symmetrically. So we'll put one lash on the right eye, one on the left. One on the right, one on the left. So that we build a structure as we go. Because as a beginner, you're not quite sure on your timings and you need to be able to stop it every time. Now with this client Emma, her eyes water really badly. She's very, very sensitive. Even to things like sunlight, the wind, her eyes will water, and I know that from experience. And I'm very, very similar myself when I have a pad on. So what I do with Emma is I work one eye and finish, and I work the other. So you will see that I will only pad Emma on one side of her face rather than 2. And actually you need to decide on your client and your level of experience what you want to do. There is no right or wrong. You can work one eye at a time, or you can work side to side. Very, very much personal preference. But I always say that if you are working to a time limit, it's best to work on both eyes, because then you can stop at any time. Whereas if you work on one eye, you've got to be very precise with your timings, that you stop, unpad, and then pad the next eye. So it's probably only recommended that experienced therapists work one eye and then the other. As a beginner, stick to working symmetrically until you become confident of what you're doing. So you may also have seen at this stage, I don't have my lamps on because I don't really need them on at the moment. And also, because I'm going to be padding my client, if they've got their eyes open and the lamp is on, these Glamcore lamps, and again we sell these on the shop, and I have 2 that come over the top to prevent shadows. These lamps are very, very bright, and actually they make the eye very sensitive, especially with someone like Emma. So I never have my lamp on when I'm padding, I only put my lamp on when I start lashing. So let's grab my pad, making sure that the pack is sealed so that the pad is sterile, and remember, one use only on these. And on some clients, what you might want to do, and I tend to do this, is I actually do cut the end off my pad. So the bit that goes towards the nose, I actually cut that off because it gets in the way, and then I save these for doing my patch test. So in the UK, we patch test every single client. Even if you are in a country where you don't need to patch test, I recommend that you do it for client safety. And they go into my little pot because actually I want to be patch testing every client for every product that I use prior to a set, because if they have an allergic reaction, I'm going to be absolutely devastated by that if they go out of here. And I could have patch tested them to find out if they were going to have a reaction beforehand. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask our client to open her eye, and look up towards me, and we're going to be covering the lower lashes. And then gently close for me. And I always readjust, so once that pad's on, always readjust to make sure that it's not cutting into the eye. And by cutting that in a bit off, it actually fits so much better now. I also just like to lift the eye slightly to make sure the lashes are secured, which they are. And then I always ask my client if the pad feels okay, and when I do, I put my finger on their eyelid just gently, because what they tend to do is they want to open their eye when they answer the question, and then it can make the pad move, and then we have to start again. So Emma, how does that pad feel?
Lovely.
So she's quite happy with that. Sometimes you'll find that your client will go, oh, it's cutting into me a little bit, and you might just have to shift around with it, but always make sure that you just do a little lift of the eyelid just to check that it's not touching the waterline. On some clients where they've got a different eye shape, and view my other tutorial on under eye gel pads, you might need to use tape. I have a round eye, so I have to have tape and pads to almost make like a cross underneath my eye because my eye is round. But Emma doesn't have that problem. This pad fits her really well, and actually you'll find that these pads do fit most people. It's really strange, but I absolutely love these and can't work with any other pad now. So again, if you're looking for a good pad, come to the shop, have a go at these, and I'm sure you won't be disappointed. So you can see we've got a little bit close up now, so you can see what I'm doing, and I've actually marked some dots here on Emma's eyes because this is how I'm going to style her. I had her eye open before that we did all the cleansing and that, and I just marked some dots. And eye styling is a completely different subject together. I have an amazing online course on eye styling. It's about 6 hours long, so please go and visit the Eyelash Excellence website for the online courses. You have to get your styling right, especially on someone like Emma. Emma's lashes are poker straight. You can see that she's got quite a lot of skin on her hood here, so if you don't style her correctly, the lashes can get lost underneath her, and if you don't use the correct lengths on Emma as well, the lashes will get lost. So I know now how to style Emma, but I'm just double checking my lengths with her to see what lengths that I will need to use on her. So I'm just picking lengths and holding them up against Emma just to double check. I haven't lashed her for a while, and her lashes are actually quite long. So I'm just picking out areas in the lash line and just remembering where my length needs to be, and my taper down on the outer corner. Always, always, always taper down on these outer corners. You might be able to see Emma's got a little bunch of lashes just here. These actually are not suitable to lash. So this little chunk that she's got here, I won't actually be touching these. I will be leaving this out and finishing my last lash here because it's not suitable. So you don't have to actually lash every single natural lash in the set. We only lash suitable natural lashes. So based on that, I now know how to draw my lash map. I'm using these markers that I've got on her eyes to mark my longest zone. So I know there that on Emma, I'm actually going to have a 13. 13 is going to be the longest on her. It's actually quite a long lash, but I'm using a CC curl on Emma to actually give her some lift and lift up over her hood here. Again, advanced eye styling, completely different tutorial together. This is just showing you how I go about lashing a client. And then I'm just going to be drawing my zones to taper back down. And you can see I'm concentrating here on what I'm doing. And 8. So that is going to be my lash map. I do this at every full set and every infill. Guys, if you're not lash mapping, please do it. Especially if you start doing advanced styling where you're lashing one eye different to the other. This could have different lengths and different curls on it to this eye. On this set, I'm using CC curl across the whole eye. On other sets, I do mix my curls, sometimes flatter in the inner corner, stronger over the middle, staying strong on the outer corner to give lift. But again, it's all very, very bespoke for that client that you are working on. So eye styling is such a major subject, and to be honest, you need to have mastered this before you move on to any advanced form of lashing such as Russian volume, because if you can't style your client correctly, there's no point in you moving any further, because if you get your style wrong, it can look really, really bad. So the adhesive that I'm going to be using today is my absolute favourite. It's rapid, it is suitable for classic and volume. It is the fastest strength, fastest curing adhesive that we have on the shop. It is not for the inexperienced lash technician, so you do need to be advanced to use it. This is such an advanced adhesive that it is also super thin. If you do not shake it well for 30 seconds to 2 minutes, then it will separate like chocolate milk that hasn't been shaken, let's say. So you need to give it a really, really good shake, get the bingo wings going, and when you dispense it, whether you're working with a jade stone or a glue ring, put something like some foam tape across your jade stone and then put 2 layers of tape. You need a waffled textured surface. If you don't have this surface and it's just shiny, this adhesive will separate on it. You'll see that the colour will run out of it. It will go like clear and then black. You need to have a waffled surface to hold it in a dome, otherwise it will split. And it's because it's so thin. It's not because there's anything wrong with the adhesive. You can see it's a nice big block. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with the adhesive. It's just because it's super advanced, it's super thin consistency, that it will split open or split apart if you don't have it held on that waffled surface. You'll also see that I like to work with my lashes off the back of my hand. This is one invention by my dad. This is called the lash dome, or the volume lash dome. I can't work with lashes off the side of me. I've tried. I have to have it on my hand because I'm quite tall in the upper body, so I tend to find that I can't hunch over, especially when I'm doing volume. So really, really love the little lash dome that we have here. Completely non-perishable product, as in you can wipe it with acetone, you can drive over it in your car. I can't live without these, and I have one of these for every single curl that I use. So now we're going into lashing, and I always say that the first sort of 20 minutes of your set is when it takes you the time to basically find your flow. You find out what the natural lashes are doing, how they like to grab onto the adhesive, how your adhesive is working. You'll find that your fans will fall off, they'll close, because you're trying to figure out what's going on. I always like to put my first lash right slap bang over the middle of the eye, and then I like to build structure as I go. So that was a 13 that I put over the middle of the eye. I'm now going to work on the outer corner and bring my lash in. And if you haven't guessed, we are volume lashing today. So Emma's outer corners actually grow inwards, so I really do need to create some direction here when I'm going to apply this one. So I'm just hooking it off the base. To try and create some direction. And then I'm going to put one near the inner corner. I don't go right to the inners, I leave them until last. So somewhere around here. And then I'll start to fill my zone, so I'll start to now go in between where I've just placed my lashes. So here I'm going to show you what can sometimes happen, and I'm going to show you that it actually happens to me, and it's where some of the bottom lashes can pop out from underneath the pad and get stuck to the top, and you'll need to release them. It is just one of them things that happen. Some of the bottom lashes are so tiny that you can't secure them all. Okay, you can use bits of paper tape to secure them, but sometimes I think that runs the risk of touching the eyeball. So I would rather do this at the end sometimes than spend ages trying to tape down tiny little bottom lashes. So keep watching, I'll show you how we go about releasing stuck lashes. So first of all, we need to check where it's stuck. So I'm just putting my finger on the eyelid and just lifting it slightly. And with this end of my tweezer, I'm just pulling the lower lid down, and you can see that it is stuck. Now, sometimes you'll find that if you give a good sort of tug like this, it will actually release the lash, like so. But if it doesn't, what you're then going to need to do is to lift the lid like so, and then with your tweezers, and make sure it's an angled pair and they are pointing upwards. Never, ever point them downwards. Pointed pair upwards, you're going to come in and you're going to flick the lash between. So your tweezer literally comes between and flicks up. You cannot physically poke your client in the eye with your tweezer like this because of the angle of them. If you had a straight tweezer, then possibly yes, and obviously if your tweezer was like that, then definitely you would. You are always have to make sure that you are seated. So I'm sitting down, both of my hands are rested on the client's head like this, so I am completely stable. I can't slip on my client at all, and I'm just pulling this down again, and I can see that I have released that. Just going to give the lashes a little bit of a brush again, just because I can see that I've messed them up a little bit where I've done that. And again, sometimes you might have the odd one or two in the bottom and the outer corner. You just lift, check what's going on, you'd spin your tweezers around, you'd go in between them and you'd flick upwards like so.